And Player 1, you start. Wind, wander, wonderful. Player 1. That is correct. Player 1, you pick again, please. This city's Herald won in 1993 for public service for coverage of Hurricane Andrew and its aftermath. Let's hear it, Player 1. Right. We return to you, Player 1. The first 2 Pulitzers for writing these, to the New York Tribune and Louisville Courier-Journal, didn't name the authors. Let's hear it, Player 1. Yep. Select again. Russell Jones won for his reporting about Soviet repression from this capital in 1956. Let's hear it, Player 1. Ooh, sorry. That's incorrect. Anyone else? We're talking about Budapest. Player 1, pick again. A room full of silver balloons that move with the air currents is a highlight of this pop artist's Pittsburgh museum. Okay, Player 1. Yes. We return to you, Player 1. This wrap artist and his wife Jeanne-Claude used more than 1 million square feet of fabric to wrap the Reichstag. It's Player 1. No, that's not right. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Okay, Player 3. Right. Player 3, you start. Mount Rushmore, a depiction of 4 imposing bovines, was sculpted by Jim Victor from this dairy product. Let's hear it, Player 1. Nope. Oh! Any other takers? We're talking about butter. Player 3, choose again. If you donate $135 to his sanctuary, you can own a painting signed by this Tarzan co-star. Okay, Player 1. Nope. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's what we wanted. Cheetah. We return to you, Player 3. Julia Keller won in 2005 for her reporting on a 10-second event, the destruction of Utica, Illinois, by one of these. Player 1. That's it. Player 1, you start. In 2007, counterintelligence columnist Jonathan Gold became the first critic of these to win a Pulitzer. It's Player 1. Yes! Great, you're back into it now. Please pick again, Player 1. Who else but this Iberian would paint giant flying demitas with incomprehensible appendage 5 meters long? Let's hear it, Player 1. Yeah! Right you are. You again, Player 1. The tiger type of this fish can be 1.5 feet long at birth, with dark spots and stripes that fade as it ages. Okay, player one. You got it. You again, player one. Bomb, backfield, blitz. Let's hear it, player one. Yes. We return to you, player one. With this man as president, the government budget was $579 million, and unemployment stood at 2.8%. Okay, player one. Right. Player one, choose again. Salt, pepper, sage. Let's hear it, player one. Good. Please pick again. Candor, center, canter. It's player one.
Oh,
Nope.
no!
Sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? The correct response is candor. Player one, back to you. Paint, brush, easel. Player one?
Yeah!
Good. You get to pick again, player
Capable.
one. Succeed, accomplish. Okay, player one. That's right, way to go. Please pick again, player one. Geographic name for the spotted green type of pike, whose young eat insects before graduating to other fish. Let's hear it, player one. Sorry.
Oh!
Any other takers? Here's the correct response. Northern pike. We return to you, player one. Baby catfish are called sack fry and subsist for 5 days on this, even after they hatch from the egg. Let's hear it, player one. That's correct. You get to pick again, player one. Males guard the fry of the smallmouth type of this, a sport fishing favorite. Here's the correct response. Bass. Player one, you fry, meaning young, is often applied to this fish, like the sockeye that returns to spawn where it hatched. Okay, player one. Nope. Any other takers? Yes, player three? Correct. Player three, you start us off. Florin Ziegfeld produced his first of these extravaganzas in 1907 and would continue them for the next 24 years. Yes, player one?
Oh,
sorry.
no!
Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's the correct response. The Follies. We return to you, player three. For works like Gunga Din, he became the first Brit awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. Player one? That's right, way to go. Player 1, where do we start? More than 40 nations attended the Second International This Conference in The Hague. Let's hear it, Player 1. Ooh, sorry. That's incorrect. Anyone else? Yes, Player 2. Correct. Player 2, start us. Answer, it's the Daily Double. Player 2, you are currently in last. Please enter your wager. Answer, Charles Curtis, Republican, Kansas, became the first Native American to serve as one of these. Correct. Please pick again, Player 2. Net, ace, foot fault. Okay, Player 1. Yep. Player 1, you're in command of the fletch, quiver. Okay, Player 1.
Yeah!
Select again. Let's get Sarah's assistance on this clue.
Googly, gully, and batsman are terms used in this sport.
It's Player 1. Good.
Woo-hoo!
And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. Bunker, wedge, caddy. It's Player 1. Good.
Woo-hoo!
Player 2, you're going first in the Double Jeopardy round when we return. Clues are worth. Player 2, you're in command of the board as we continue, right? This Peanuts character got a sister named Sally in 1959. It's Player 1. Right. Player 1, you start. In Bob Thave's comic, Frank bums around with this guy. Player 1? No, that's not right. Any other takers? Here's the correct response. Ernest. 1922, The Beautiful and Blank by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Let's hear it, Player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else? Here's the correct response. Damned. You get to pick again, Player 1. 1860, The Mill on the Blank by George Eliot. Player 1?
Oh, no!
Anyone else? Here's the response we were looking for. Floss. Player 1. Pick again. Dating from medieval times, Gamla stan, Old Town, is the cradle of this Scandinavian capital. Okay, Player 1.
Yeah!
Right you are. You've got some money again. You again, Player 1. Answer, the first of the Daily Doubles. You're tied with Player 3, so what are Player 1? Please select answer. This edgy Aaron Magruder comic strip debuted in 1996. You have maintained your lead. Way to go. Player 1, you pick again, please. Mr. Munster wasn't the subject of this 1975 to 1992 Jim Unger strip. Yes, player one? That is correct. We return to Weirdo would be another name for this Dan Ferraro comic that began as a replacement for The Far Side. It's player one. Yes. You again, player one. 1925, An American Blank by Theodore Dreiser. Okay, player one. Sorry.
Oh!
That's wrong. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? The correct response is Tragedy. Player one. 1895, Blank the Obscure by Thomas Hardy. Yes, player one? Nope. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? We're talking about Jude. Player one, you pick 1749, Tom Blank by Henry Fielding. It's player one. No. Any other takers? We're talking about Jones. You get to pick again, player one. This 10-letter adjective, meaning extraordinarily great in size, comes from the Latin for to shake. Player one? Good. Please pick again. This adjective that means weirdly frightening comes from the Old English for cowardly. Okay, player one. Good for you. Player one. From the Latin for falling down, it's used to describe a tree that sheds its leaves annually. Okay, player one.
Yeah!
Good. Player one. From the Latin for flowing, it means able to speak or write smoothly as a foreign language. Yes, player one? Good. Player one, back to you. This adjective precedes grace in the name of a hymn. Yes, player one? Yes. You get to pick again, player one. This name for radio sources that are among the brightest and most distant objects in the universe was coined in 1964. Yes, player one? That's not it.
Oh!
Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Player two. You are correct. Player two, you start. In 1979, these were discovered around Jupiter. Saturn has them too. Okay, player one. That's not it. Anyone else? We're talking about rings. Player two, choose again. The Milky Way is classified as this type of galaxy from the way its arms sweep around. It's player one. That is correct. Player 1, you're in command. Answer, the second daily double. You are in first place. How much? And the daily double clue. A list of this planet's moons, including Oberon and Titania, reads like a who's who of Shakespeare. Congratulations, you're still in first, Player 1. Please pick again, Player 1. You can have a roaring good time watching this meteor shower that put on an historic show in 1833. It's Player 1. No, sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's what we wanted. The Leonids. Player 1. Pick again. Chisago is a county in this state, as is Hennepin. Player 1? That is correct. Please pick again, Player 1. Here's Sarah with the clue.
The cartouche seen here denotes this emperor, the ruler of Heliopolis.
Player 1?
Oh, no!
Any other takers? It's Player 2. That is correct. Player 2, make a selection, please, as we continue. Opposition led by Santa Anna limited the reign of this country's Agustin I to 10 months. It's Player 1. Yes. Where do we begin, Player 1? Last name of Louis, brother and father of French emperors. Yes, Player 1? Ooh, sorry. That's incorrect. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? It's Player 3. Ooh, sorry. That's incorrect. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Okay, Player 2. You got it. Player 2, start us. This strike-slip fault that runs through California is named for a lake that's in the rift. Yes, Player 1? Correct. Player 1, make a selection, please, as we continue. He was crowned emperor on Christmas Day 800. Let's hear it, Player 1. Good. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Johann Strauss Jr. conducted the Blue Danube Waltz publicly for the first time at a February 1867 concert in this city. It's Player 1. That is correct. Please pick again, Player 1. Alfonso VI, who died in Toledo in 1109, called himself Emperor of two religions, Christianity and this. Player 1? That is correct. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. We are volunteering the information that Klingman's Dome is the highest point in this state. Okay, player one. Correct. Sorry, player three. Looks like you will not be continuing on to Final Jeopardy. We're back. The category for Final Jeopardy today is landmarks. You need to select your wager. The Final Jeopardy clue is as follows. The quote, "with malice toward none," is on the wall of his Washington, D.C. memorial. What did you say? And that will cost you. And your response? Sorry, that incorrect response will drop your score by... Here's what we wanted. Abraham Lincoln. Woo! Player one, congratulations to you. So long, everybody.